An Indian musician and a Swedish metalhead walk into a bar. A bar of 4/4. Oh my god, I'm sorry about that. Hello boys and girls, ladies and gents, I hope you guys are well. This week's video is pretty exciting for a few reasons. First, we're in week 3 of MAYshuggah, which in and of itself is pretty cool. Second, this video marks a full year since I've started this channel, which is kind of awesome, I won't lie. And lastly, in this episode I'm gonna merge two subjects that are very close to me. One of them is Meshuggah, obviously, and the other is this Indian rhythmic method called KONNAKOL. And all of this through the epic song Stengah. This song doesn't have too many riffs in it, and we'll go over 5 of them, starting with the intro riff. This riff spans over 22 16th notes, which we can also count as 11 8th notes. The notes played are these, and they create these groups. 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 5 1. And because we're technically in 4/4 with an 8th note and 16th note subdivision, and this riff spans over 8 bars, we get 5 full reps of the pattern with an extra 9 8th notes at the end. The first 8 bars are played only by the guitar, which makes the 4/4 a bit harder to follow. And frankly, when the drums come in, it's a bit easier, but not that much. Here we go. Now, if we try and write this down in Western notation, it's gonna look like this, which is pretty messy and very unintuitive. Luckily, we're not obligated to only use the Western system when it comes to analyzing music. And with all the respect I have for that system, and I have a lot, I'm very happy to introduce you to KONNAKOL. Now, I'm sure you know how deep my Indian roots go. I mean, my girlfriend is half Indian. Which is why my friend Rohith will take the lead on this one. He's an amazing vocalist, and we actually covered one of his songs in this episode. Anyway, he'll walk us through the very basics of KONNAKOL.
Oh shit. I can totally walk you through KONNAKOL stuff. I'm just gonna be sitting the whole time. Well, anyway, the short version is KONNAKOL is like spoken notation, but for South Indian classical music. Every syllable that you say corresponds with a stroke on the instrument. Now, Hindustani classical music, or North Indian classical music, has basically the same thing. Now, apart from just the syllables and the counting, which we'll do in a second, it's really important to be dynamic and kind of shape the lines as you say them. If you think about the syllables like notes on the staff, then the contour that you give the line, they're kind of like dynamic markings. Now, without getting into the complex rhythmic structures or Tala systems, let's just talk about how we count 4/4, which is actually 8/4 because 8/4 is much more common for us than 4/4 is. It's called Adi Tala, and we count it like this: palm, pinky, ring, middle, palm, flip, palm, flip. So remember that intro riff that Yogev talked about in 11 or 22? The same thing happens in this next section, but in a slightly different way. Now I'm going to count it with my hands and using KONNAKOL syllables. At first, I'll fill all the subbeats so we kind of know what we're counting, and then I'm going to say just the hits. Maybe you can try to keep time along with me with your hands?
Now that's awesome! For the rest of this video, we'll go over the remaining riffs using both my 3rd grade art class methods and KONNAKOL. So, the riff behind the guitar solo, and the riff before the riff behind the guitar solo. Yalla Rohith, take it.
Age before beauty, I guess, huh?
I'm both older and prettier than you are.
Yeah. Hey, can I borrow that pen real quick? Thanks, man. So the pre-solo riff is made of 2 different patterns. The first one looks like this, 3-3-2-2, which I would call takita takita taka dimi. And the second one looks like this, 3-3-2-2-2-2, which I would again call takita takita taka dimi taka jornu. Now we call all these 2-beat phrases by different syllables because it's a whole lot easier to say than 4 takas, and you'll never be confused about which 2-beat phrase you're on. Takita takita taka dimi 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 taka jornu takita takita taka dimi taka jornu takita takita taka dimi taka jornu takita takita taka dimi taka jornu. Now, Yogev will probably call this one 10/16 notes and this one 14/16 notes. But you'll say it's easier counted as 5/8 notes and 7/8 notes.
I would say that exactly, yeah.
Of course you will. Anyway, the pattern here is 10-10-10, 14-10, which fits 2 times in an 8-bar frame with a small tail. Like I did in the beginning, instead of filling up all this stuff, you could just say the main beats or the hits. A super common and kind of cool way of doing it is with just 2 syllables. Ta, dom. I'm going to put them under each grouping in yellow, so you can try that version too if you want. This ta-dom technique is easier to say, but sometimes harder to count. But feel free to use it for any of the other riffs we do going forward. Takita takita taka dimi takita takita taka dimi takita takita taka dimi takita takita taka dimi taka jornu takita takita taka dimi ta dom 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 ta. As for the solo pattern, it's quite interesting. This sequence uses the same idea as the pre-solo riff, but in a different order. This time it's 10-14-14-6-10-10, or 5-7-7-3-5-5, which adds up to 32 beats, so it actually fits perfectly in a 4-bar frame. Takita takita taka dimi takita takita taka dimi taka jornu takita takita taka dimi taka jornu takita 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 taka dimi takita takita taka dimi takita taka dimi takita takita dimi jornu takita takita dimi jornu takita 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 taka dimi takita takita taka dimi ta dom 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 ta.
Oh, and if you think that I'm just gonna ignore that drum fill, you are so wrong.
Of course you're not going to ignore the drum fill. Every single time you're trying to talk about a cool song and these drummers...
Shut up. So Thomas does this super cool thing. You know how the solo riff ends with those 2 patterns in 5? Or 10, technically? That 10 is divided as 3-3-2-2. Now, with the kick, he plays the first note of every group. But with the hands, he squeezes 4 notes here instead of 2, and 2 notes here instead of 1. It's like a mini version of the shifting gravity centers thing. Here it is slowly. And in tempo.
That is cool. Let me try. Takita takita taka demi takita takita taka demi taka demi taka jono takita takita taka demi taka jono takita takita tam. Aw, yeah.
You like it, huh?
I do like it.
Okay, so the next two riffs are a piece of cake after the previous one. This one is basically this pattern,
Okay.
and well, that's it.
Oh.
Yeah, it has a different melodic content where it alternates between two rounds of two different chords, but rhythmically it's the same.
And the last riff is a small 7 that repeats for 8 bars twice, and then another 16 bars after the vocals come in. Now I'm calling it a small 7 because up until now we've been doing 7s, but they're really 14s or 5s that are 10s, so they can be reduced to a slower 5 and a slower 7. But these 7s, they're already at the faster pulse, the same pulse as the 10 and the 14, so you can't shorten them. This 7 is divided as 3 and 4, and that's pretty much it. So because our riff is in 7 and the song's in 4/4, it's not going to line up super evenly. So what's going to happen is before the vocals come in, we're going to do it straight through 8 times, our riff in 7, and then we're going to have 8 beats left over, which we're going to say as takita, taka, takita, 3, 2, 3. We're going to do that all the way until the vocals come in. What happens after the vocals come in is we have to say the riff in 7 17 times. So the way we'll do that with what we have is say this whole thing, then say all 8 again, and then this very last one, we're going to say it twice. But we have a little extra left over this time. We have 9 beats left over. So we're going to swap out this takita for a takadimi. And now we have takita, taka, takadimi. And that's our remainder for when the vocals are in. Cool, let's try it. Tak dum, 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 tak 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 dum, demi, dum, demi, 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 tak 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 tak, dirgada tak tak demi, tak tak tak, dirgada tak tak demi, dirgada tak tak demi, tak tak tak, dirgada tak tak demi, tak 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 demi, tak tak demi, tak tak demi, tak demi, tak tak demi, tak demi, tak tak demi, tak tak demi, tak demi, tak demi, tak demi, tak demi, dirgada tak demi, tak demi, dirgada tak demi, tak demi, tak 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 tak dirgada tak demi, tak tak demi, tak tak demi da.
Such a cool song. Amazing way to open an album. Well, we're done here, bro. Jokes aside, thanks for doing this and sparing me from struggling to say daha, daha, daha in public.
That's what I'm here for, right? No? Okay. Well, this was super fun and I had an amazing time. I definitely think that we should do this again.
Don't push it.
Ugh, you know what? Subscribe to my channel and don't subscribe to his channel. Cool. Bye.
You should subscribe to his channel. He's amazing. And by the way, for more MAYshuggah KONNAKOL action, check out this arrangement we did a few years back of the song Nostrum with the master BC Manjuret. And I'll see you guys next week.